Welcome back. Nerd is the new cool. Another bourbon tasting. Spoiler alert. So we're going to do the same concept that we did last time, Guess the Ringer. But before we get into that, let's introduce our guests. With us again, John Cagle. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
And Brian Bauer. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. So thrilled.
Yes. So what are we doing again?
My name is Justin.
Whatever. Everybody knows you, man. I don't need to introduce you. You're typically the host, and now for some reason I'm the host, and I'm still uncomfortable with doing this.
For vanity purposes, I need to have my name said.
I know. Yes,
Okay.
I know that. So, Guess the Ringer. So what are we doing? So we did this last time. A little bit different. Last time was more high-proof stuff. This is not high-proof stuff. This is all, kind of between that 90, 110 range, whatever. And that's all I'm going to say this time. It is in order. You will taste it 1 through 6. I will not say why, but it's in order.
In order by proof?
No. You need to taste it in order is what I'm saying. Like
okay.
It is ordered where you taste 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in order. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So the order that I put it in is what you need to do. And again, for people that didn't listen to the last one, understand the concept. So this is the Guess the Ringer. So it's kind of the opposite of the Compare to the Rare, where at Dogwood they did a Compare to the Rare where it was 5 that you can find, and then 1 that's the rare bourbon that's hard to find. This is the opposite of that. This is 5 that are considered not impossible to find, but difficult to find, and 1 that you can find everywhere.
Okay.
And we're tasting it. We're figuring out what we like the most. And if you can guess which one the Ringer is, bonus points. And by points, I mean no points at all. This is like whose line it is. Whose line is it anyways?
Attaboys.
All the points are made up and they don't matter. And if you can pick what the Ringer is, even more fake bonus points.
Excellent.
So can we just, for the people who may have listened to all the episodes of our tastings, let's talk about like the main elements of how to do a tasting.
Absolutely.
And actually, we're going to defer to our expert here, Brian. What's the best thing? What are the things to think about when you're talking? And we have a sheet here that talks about it too. But what are the things to talk about when
and he's the one that kind of changed our nomenclature when it comes to these things, really.
Yeah, it's for me, it's it's a combination of a lot of different things. Certainly the color. We all eat with our eyes first. We drink with our eyes first, and so we want to take a look at that. Now, color can be an indication of a lot of different things, although I don't necessarily believe that color is a true indicator of quality, although it can lead you in that direction. Certainly dark color in a bourbon, you tend to think, okay, maybe it was in a hotter part of the warehouse. Maybe it is been aged longer, but it could also mean it's been charred more. It could also mean it was aged in a heavily charred small barrel in a hot place and things like that. There are a lot of different variables. Mm-hmm. So just looking at something can't be an indicator of color. I would cite some single malt scotches that have had 0 caramel coloring added, that are non-chill filtered, that are some of the most amazing whiskeys I've ever had, that look super pale because of the climate in which they were aged. So,
absolutely.
But color is a really good place to start for evaluating the quality. Then, as far as that, I go on to the aroma or the nose. I look at aroma intensity. How strong does it pop out of the glass? I'm not looking for necessarily the alcohol smell. You're definitely going to get that, but that's not going to be the indicator of alcohol. That's going to come on the palate and in the finish as well. But I'm also looking for what type of aromas, a complexity of aromas. Am I getting aromas from the distillation process? Am I getting aromas from the maturation process? And am I getting aromas from time having been spent in the bottle, or what other factors? Releasing those aromas seems to work best for me personally by adding a little bit of water, sometimes a lot of water, depending on what it is. And totally up to you whether you want to do that or not. It's however you feel that you can best taste it. And then, so after nosing the spirit, then I go on to the palate and I look for certain things. I look for the alcohol. I get the alcohol is not only kind of a burning inside the mouth, but also what many refer to as the Kentucky hug, the that kind of warm sensation as it's going down your esophagus. I also look for, does it smell like it tastes? That's just one of those really quick kind of cheating things that we do in blind tastings all the time for wine, is that, yep, it smells like it tastes. We don't have to rewrite the exact same thing. Is there anything that's different? Are we getting, again, those flavors from the distillation process, flavors from the maturation process, and flavors from the bottle itself? And then today, by any other factors, by adding ice or water to it, or how are those going to release that? The way it feels in the mouthfeel of it is really important to me. I think that is a good indicator of quality, more so than a lot of other things that people tend to think of. Being proof would be one of them. I don't think anybody can make a high proof spirit. Everclear does it all the time. It doesn't mean I want to drink it. But that kind of rich.
You don't sip on Everclear just for fun?
Well, some of us have to do what we have to do.
Yeah.
But we call it getting well in group. Yeah. So it's that oily kind of creamy mouthfeel that I really like, and then just a uniqueness. And is it what it's supposed to be? It's a little bit ambiguous, right? Does it have the characteristics associated with whatever it is that I'm supposed to be tasting? Now, I don't know. I'm tasting.
That's hard to do with a blind tasting.
It is, unless we're given parameters like these are all bourbons, or these are all. I assume these are all whiskeys.
These are all bourbons.
They're all bourbons. Okay. So and that would be an indicator. It would not be strange to me to blind taste bourbons with ryes, just to see if we could tell the difference, right? That is not a crazy concept, but having those parameters helps. And now I can taste these and think to myself, does this taste like a bourbon? Good news is there's a wide world of bourbon out there, and you can have a lot of different things. We were discussing earlier about banana peel on the aromas and on the palate, and that can be associated with bourbon, but it's certainly, in my mind, associated with Tennessee whiskey as well. So, and then I look for the finish, and how long does the finish last? How long do I taste the pleasant aromas and flavors in my mouth, and before they dissipate and disappear? And if I get a lot of high checks, if I get a lot of aroma intensity, a lot of flavor intensity and pronouncement, a lot of complexity in the different types of flavors and the different types of aromas, and a nice long finish, I'm going to give that check, and I'm going to say this is an outstanding whiskey. And I guess I kind of do all of that within the matter of 15 to 20 seconds.
Which is very impressive.
Well,
me too.
Let's do that.
Everything he said.
Yeah, everything he said. Well, and then the last category, and it was one thing that you mentioned, the last, expressiveness.
Expressiveness, which is ambiguous.
Very ambiguous.
Yeah. And that's kind of, does it taste like it should taste, right? Is it expressive of a bourbon?
Yeah.
And I find that difficult, but it could just be that I'm not grasping it yet. And maybe one of these days I will. Or I might hook up with those guys again and go, I still don't get this shit.
I still don't get it.
This shit still doesn't make sense. It's British.
This is a crapshoot
It's
sometimes.
over the head. It's over the head. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So I think, Lambert, you're running the show, but should we go through each one and talk about them as we're doing it?
Absolutely, yeah. So taste the first one, and then we can talk about, like, we've got Hildebrand. You found some sheets in front of you that give you some good information. And it really helps to break it down as far as, like, what are you tasting? Are you tasting? So I'm just going to describe it a little bit for the people that, obviously you can't see it. So if you're tasting fruit, it breaks it down a little bit to, there you go, apple, apricot, banana, cherry, citrus, dark fruits, everything like that. So you can kind of.
We stole this from breakingbourbon.com, and it breaks down the color, the contrast, also the description of the taste and palate,
which is what I'm talking about,
and then overall just ratings,
overall notes. But it helps you understand, like, I'm tasting spice, because spice is really easy to pick up. But then it's okay. Well, what kind of spice is it? Allspice, cinnamon, pepper. None of these are rye. You're probably not going to pick up a lot of rye, but it just helps you hone in a little bit more specifically on what flavor you're trying, what flavor you're picking up.
Yeah,
in your palate.
And again, to analogize with wine tasting, it's there are cheaters that I have for tasting a white wine. All white wines taste like apples. Now, pick a variety and add an adjective, and that's going to help you describe this wine.
It's kind of like the vanilla or caramel
Right.
from a bourbon perspective. Like they all taste like that.
They all taste like vanilla and caramel,
Yeah.
but are we talking salted caramel? Are we talking a really dark caramel? Are we talking caramel coloring? Is it an artificial type of caramel? Are we talking Brocks or are we talking Werthers, which are two distinctly different flavors within caramel, because butter gets thrown into one of those quite a bit, whereas Brocks is pretty much margarine. So, but if we're talking about fruit, let's say on a red wine, all red wines smell like cherries. Now pick a variety and add an adjective. Is it a black cherry?
A maraschino cherry.
Smoked Bing cherries? We forgot our
Now
adjective.
you're getting fancy.
Yeah. I would say Montessori cherries, but
I don't even know what that is.
that's a
They're
pie
from the
cherry.
region of Montessori.
Yeah.
You're so fancy. You're so sophisticated.
It's a pie cherry. I think I'm probably pronouncing it wrong too, but we have one in my backyard, and for Father's Day, I had a cherry crisp that my kids made from that. And it was pretty awesome.
That's better than the ashtray that I got. Yeah.
Yeah. As a non-smoker.
For the non-smoker.
Yeah.
Those look nice though.
So number one, let's
All
talk
right.
about it.
So I'll start kind of talking about just the color a little bit. I'm just kind of looking at this little fancy little color wheel.
Color wheel.
Yeah, I'm ranking this as a ranking is not the right word, but I think the color I'm getting out of it is kind of like a medium gold. It's on the lighter side of the handful of ones.
It's like right there. Yep, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, again, not a bad thing, but it just seems like a little bit lighter. than
What
some of the
again
others.
with the lower proofs, you're gonna get that. So the last time we did some higher proofs, and you're gonna get a lot of darks. Some of them were barrel proofs, so you're gonna get a lot of dark bourbons with that. But with these, they're gonna be a little bit lighter because they're proofed to. All of them are proofed to a specific proof.
And I'll just say with the taste of this one, it was pretty mellow, and the finish was not super long. This is not a very hot, spicy bourbon. I think this is one of the I haven't tasted any of the other ones.
None of
but-
these are up your alley.
Okay, it doesn't have a lot of spice to it. It's pretty chill, pretty
Well,
mellow. It's got a decent finish, but it's not super long.
Well, and that brings up a good point as far as kind of some of the stuff that palates are evolving. Your palate's evolving. All of ours are evolving. Like when we first got into this game, it was one thing, and now you've started to gravitate towards and I think it's evolving in the sense that you're starting to figure out what you like. We're still constantly trying to find new bourbons, figuring out what we like, and you found your niche. And
This is hard though. I have to I have to almost like taste all 6 of them until I can actually like tell you which one's better, which one's whatever.
and you're gonna have to because especially for this specific tasting, none of these are really in your
This
niche.
is not what I do.
Because you're 1792 full proof. You're
High proof.
Elijah Craig barrel
On
proof.
fire.
If it's 130 and higher, you want it. That's none of
Sound
this
like
stuff.
a real snob, making me sound like a real snob. Go ahead, Brian.
For me,
just saying.
the idea is to evaluate each one on its own merits and then go back before I do the comparison, which is against human nature, right? It becomes
'Cause you wanna-
exponentially more difficult as you move on through a tasting because you've started somewhere
And you
and
wanna
our
compare one to
mind
the other,
wants-
and then
exactly
and then that, and then that.
I
and
like
that,
this
and that.
better than the first one, but not as well as the second one, or whatever, right? I'm not saying that's my judgment here, but because I haven't tasted any of them. But I do think there's benefit to smelling all of them first before actually tasting all of them first, just to give yourself an idea what you're in for. And I was at a Penfolds masterclass at the CIA in Napa Valley, and who was it? Was it Kieran McNeil, who wrote the Wine Bible, and Matt Lane, who's a master of wine, and another master sommelier were on the panel, and they were conducting a blind tasting, and they just wanted you to go in order and taste them. And on the last flight, one was Penfolds Grange, which they put first, which is a big monster of wine, and the other was this Rhone wine, made from the same grape, but a totally different style, way more austere, way more earthy, and totally different. And there were 100 people in the room, and when they said who likes number 1 best, 99 hands went up. And who likes number 2 best? And as my friend was saying, please don't. please don't do it. I raised my hand and I explained why I thought they were trying to rig the tasting, and it wasn't fair to put this wine after this wine, and that if you tasted this wine first, you would definitely recognize it as an amazing wine. It's not a clear-cut type of thing if you taste them in the right order. Mm-hmm. And so it turned into a big argument, and I'll tell you guys that story another time. But I'd just like to say that I won, because that's all that matters.
Yeah,
but I
that
think
is all that matters.
I think that I agree with you that it's not a super long finish, but I think there's some spice and complexity. Certainly the alcohol, it doesn't come across as mellow to me. Again, part of this could be the day that we're drinking it on. There's this whole concept or theory in biodynamics about when wine is going to taste good, and it kind of applies to spirits as well. It's when will the barometric pressure be right, and when are the stars aligned? Is Mercury in retrograde? I don't know, but
and it's it's Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday. It's the end of a long week.
It's the end of a long week, so yeah.
Yeah.
This stuff's it tastes good to me, but I'm not drinking what you're drinking.
Right. But I certainly think it tastes good.
Yeah, I agree. Cagle?
I have a lot to offer to this conversation. It's delicious. I think it's got a good, you talked a lot about mouthfeel. I think it's got a nice mouthfeel. It's a little bit creamy, kind of got that feel to it. It's a little hot for me. It's certainly not a high proof bourbon, but I can taste the alcohol. And that, I'm obviously the least experienced in the room here, but
that's okay. That's why, honestly, in that case, your opinion might be more valuable than not to take anything away from the expert that's right there, and someone that's not a novice,
a high proof junkie,
and is a high proof junkie. Well, and he's got a pretty good palate, as he's demonstrated at the bar right there, just being able to pull some specific flavors out of, and he'll be able to pull some stuff out of all of these. I have no doubt. He's got a good nose and he's got a good palate. But
it's like I'm not here.
I
appreciate it.
Talking about
he's
you right now.
He's making up for not saying my name earlier. I appreciate it.
Missed the introduction. That's the
Justin. But getting someone that's not as familiar, I think it's important.
I think that's super important.
Good perspective.
Only because all you know is what you like. If the problem that I think a lot of people get into when they start tasting seriously is they forget what they actually like. They forget to enjoy it. They're into the process so much that they forget to just sit back and go, damn, that's really fucking good whiskey.
Yeah. They also people get hung up by the brand and like that's the rarity and things like that.
And that's the point of this. It's like you get hung up if it's like, oh my God, this is Blanton's. It's got to be good.
Right.
That's not. I mean, and Blanton's
it's
is a single barrel, so like, some of them can be fantastic, and the others are just going to be, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's all right. It's not bad, but there are varying degrees of good when it comes to anything like that. So I think people get hung up on brand names way too much.
It's easy to get hung up in like contextualizing and the nomenclature people use, and how, or if you go in a lot of wine tastings, like black Currant, and like I've never eaten a Currant in my life. I don't know what that is.
Or a Currant.
Or Currant.
Could
be that.
Yes.
I've been in river currants. I've never had a Currant eaten, but you kind of build this vocabulary.
Yeah.
And as a taster, like it makes perfect sense to you and to everyone that does it, but to a layperson, it may or may not.
Yeah. But to Lambert, to your point earlier, it's about breaking it down. So, like if you mentioned black currants, right? Those fall underneath the category of brambleberries, as do blackberries and blueberries and any berry that grows in a bramble. And so, if you can break it down and go, oh, this is kind of brambly. And then you go, okay, black currant, and then, okay, black currant, and then to here. And when I do instructions on tasting wine, and it's difficult, I need to come up with a way to do it for whiskeys as well, but I'll have you taste dried cherries and then taste a wine with the dried cherry in your mouth still, so that you can taste cherry in the context of wine and you'll be able to pick it out easier. Have you taste black currants and then take a sip of wine that has black currants. It's very pronounced whenever you do something like apricots and Riesling are very gooseberry and Sauvignon Blanc.
Yep.
I had never had a gooseberry in my life for a long time, and got into an argument with one of my instructors one time.
I've never even heard of a gooseberry before.
It's a gooseberry.
I have had a gooseberry.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're available
I've
for
never had
about
one.
2 weeks at Whole Foods
Okay.
if you go at
All
the
right.
right time in late summer. And I was having an argument with her. Listen, I'm not going to teach people that this tastes like a gooseberry when I've never eaten a gooseberry. That feels dishonest to me, and I can't really do it. And she's like, "Well, it does. You'll just have to take my word for it." And I'm like, "Okay."
Well, I don't.
But then I tasted a gooseberry, and I'm like, "Well, I'll be damned. It really does taste
Well,
like
This
so."
is a
And
gooseberry
Now you
one.
know.
And now I know, and so now I want to freeze gooseberries in the freezer, and then if you
make a
forget to
goose-
chill your wine, you just throw them in as ice cubes.
I've done
Gooseberry pie.
tastings like that with smells before, when
Yeah.
kind of like the tasting box.
Yeah.
But not with eating.
Yeah, it's like going to the Magic House where they have those smells and everything, and
It just helps kind of train
they have
your
those.
palate.
It would be fun to do one of those if it were centered around whiskey or bourbon or something like that. The char, the oak, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the mace. Can you tell the difference between nutmeg and mace? They're going to be very similar, but they're distinctly different at the same time. So I think that would be a fun experiment.
Note that for the record, please.
Noted. Number 2.
I was just gonna say number 2. Let's move on.
I'll
think
start again.
You've
I
already
don't mind starting.
tried it. Yeah.
I've already tried it, and I'll just start with the color. So this is a little bit darker than the last one. I'm like leaning up against a white piece of paper, and then up against the color.
You're comparing it to the color wheel.
I'm actually going just straight dark gold on this one. I guess it's just gold, but it's the darker side of
the
gold.
end version. Yeah,
It's
I
a little-
gotcha.
this is a
Yeah.
little slightly darker than the previous one. For this one, for me on the nose, I was getting some citrus in there.
I like it.
Maybe even like more specific to like an orange peel or something like that. I don't know what my deal is, but I'm like getting bananas with everything I'm freaking drinking nowadays.
I was getting ethanol.
Ethanol? Yeah.
Ethanol and maybe a little. Before I added the water, the alcohol in the ethanol was certainly coming out a little bit more, and I was thinking almost maybe even number 3 fractions, or like as you move higher in the temperature scale, like maybe the cut was done a little late or something.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, and you bring up a good point with the water. Like, just a little capful of water can change the flavor profile if you're interested, Brian. I know that's part of your process.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll taste it neat. Add a little water. See if you can.
Yeah.
See if you can tell any differences. Any of the what's the word?
Flaws.
Flaws.
Yeah, it does
Pick
expose
out-
flaws.
It
Yeah.
exposes the flaws. Yeah.
I do think on the finish, this one was a little delayed for me. Like it didn't hit me right off the bat. But if you sit there for long enough, it has a little bit of warmth. It kind of comes back around.
I'm glad you said alcohol, because I was kind of feeling like a rookie. Like all I could smell is
Listen,
the
it's
alcohol. in it.
Sometimes that's
Right-
all you can.
right there.
Sometimes you get a blast of ethanol
Ethanol and
with a lot of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hildebrand,
Are we going to 3?
we can. Well, there's Brian's already knows in 3, and
Okay.
Cagle just added water to 2, so he's savoring that.
Yeah, I'll start with 3. 3. This one. They're getting continuously darker. So for this one, I had Amber Light. I feel like it was the next
I gotcha.
step up in the darkness.
Yep.
So I would suggest to you that the color intensity being light, medium, and dark is different and not associated in any way with the color of straw, gold, amber, copper, mahogany here. So gold is the color all the way through, even though it's a light intensity of gold, a medium intensity of gold, and a deep intensity of gold. Amber will be the color all the way through. So when I was looking at these,
I gotcha.
and color's the biggest arguments I ever get into when I'm teaching classes.
It's subjective. Yeah.
Very subjective. The idea is to make something that's subjective as objective as we possibly can. But because I was looking at these and thinking they're amber, but more light, medium, and dark amber. So deep gold is not, or dark gold is not the same as a light amber. There are 2 different colors there because there's more red in the amber.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can look at that and see.
And that, I kind of
The
got that
difference.
out of this one. This
Yeah.
one has more red in it. For
Yeah,
sure, than the other
absolutely.
two. That's why I think the first 2 were like much more of the gold
It's got some.
level for me.
It's got
But I
some
feel like
lines
the
to it,
next
too.
2 were a little bit
Yeah,
more.
my old eyes too are because color is so subjective, this was always the thing that we would get in arguments about. But like I would have the lights really bright.
Yeah, the lighting changes, the piece of paper, the printer ink,
Yep,
whatever.
absolutely.
Right.
Everything
All of it.
changes.
All of it.
According to this, though, I think this is of the amber palette, but it's a little bit lighter. It's got the reddishness to it, but it's not like this isn't like a.
It is of the amber variety.
That's what I think.
All right.
That's where I'm going with that one.
All right.
I didn't quite get to the nose and to
Cagle,
the I'll let somebody else say nose and taste.
What do you? Are you getting anything specific on the taste? Because I know you already had some. You added some water.
Yeah.
Anything?
It's something like in the kind of raisin prune sort of feel. Like I don't really know
All right.
that that's typical, but that's the first thing that popped to mind, and I don't know.
It's
I
what
could be
you're-
completely wrong.
It's what you're picking up. There is no wrong answer to this. That's the beauty
Yeah,
of it.
sometimes there is.
I don't know. I agree to disagree.
Nope, you're wrong.
You're
There's
wrong.
no wrong
Well,
answer.
so
You're
so
wrong.
honestly, well,
I'm outta here.
So if anybody can tell you're wrong, it's him, and I'm not going to say you're wrong.
That's why I'm looking at him, not you.
I was definitely getting a very fruity quality to this. I wasn't necessarily picking up dried fruits, but when you mention dried fruits like that, yeah, I can definitely get it. Certainly, there's a reminiscent of raisins and even currants. If you like
There
if
you
you make
go.
hot cross buns or
Never
something
had a
like
currant
that.
before.
Yeah,
A currant.
Don't even know how to say it correctly.
but yeah, I think that it's very fruity. It smells kind of like some raisins, some cherries, some
Maybe like dried cherry instead
yeah,
of like
even dried apple. I think there's kind of a lot going on in this one, and I think it actually on the palate even follows through. Right? Sometimes it can
I was just going to
Smell
say, does
great.
it hold up?
yeah,
Smells
smell great, taste
great?
good.
Yep.
Yeah,
This one for me also has more of the oily like feel in the mouth.
Some mouthfeel.
Yeah,
All right.
like a full mouth warmth.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was
Good.
just, and I commented when you first kind of swirled that around, like I could see the lines in the glass.
can.
it's got legs.
It's got legs.
well, which would indicate our alcohol content and viscosity of the, which is going to be that oily mouthfeel.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and
I like it.
decent alcohol. I mean, it's still if we're in the 90s here, it would be my guess. Somewhere 93, 94.
I'm going higher. I'm going higher,
Very
Bob.
specific guess, though. I like it. Somewhere around
Is this-
93.
$1.
Six.
Is this Price is Right rules?
Yeah,
I'll take the over, Bob.
Closest without going over.
I'm going $1.
All right, on to number 4.
Number 4.
So this is, in my opinion, still in the amber family. It's got a little bit of red hint to it. I think this is amber. This one's a little bit darker for me than the previous one, amber medium.
Okay. All
That's where
right.
I'm going.
I support that.
Now for scent or for nose, I'm getting a lot of floral. Like this for me, it's
So what are you getting? So we got some botanical, not grassy because I know what it is.
it's more like a
Herbal?
like a flower, like
Botanical.
yeah, botanical. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of flower.
What kind of flower?
A daisy,
An orchid?
an
Could you-
orchid,
Add an adjective, please.
a blue daisy.
I don't think those exist.
They do, and they're beautiful this time of year.
Sure they are.
That's where we get the color for blue bomb pops.
Yes, I love the blue.
All the all
bomb.
natural bomb pop.
All blue
Awesome.
raspberry things.
Awesome. Gotta love the bomb pop. Hey, this is the perfect time of year for bomb pops. It's July.
Yeah, sadly the
Red, white, and
Four
blue.
Hands-
I
the
mean-
Four Hands bomb pop is seltzer is out of stock for a while, but
Was
damn
it-
if that's not a good bomb.
It's
Was
really
it good?
Yes.
I've never had it.
It was fantastic.
Oh, awesome.
I support local, but I will tell you that I had
Love
the
me some Four
Bud
Hands.
Light.
Uh-huh.
It's called the Blue Raspberry. Then the
Yeah.
Retro Pack, which is bomb pop flavor.
Yep.
Fucking crazy good.
No
I
shit.
mean, I'm just
Oh, I think I had the cherry.
You had the limeade.
I had the cherry limeade. That was
also,
fantastic.
Also delicious.
So what is it we're talking about here?
Bud Light seltzers. Don't worry.
We're talking about
Seltzers.
seltzers.
Yeah, we
Are we going to do a seltzer tasting
We
next?
turn.
I
We
mean,
left turn there.
I mean, we can, but
All right. Back,
anyways.
so back to number 4.
Back to number
So
4.
it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit darker, a little more amber. I think it's got some floral nose to it.
Yep.
As far as taste,
What do you think?
There's like
What do we think?
some maple syrup going on here. This is more of an earthy, piney, bit resiny.
I'm
Not
glad
in
you
a
said-
bad way,
I'm
right?
glad you said
It's all-
pine. Like I'm definitely getting
Yeah.
like some
Yeah.
of that a little
No,
bit for sure.
none of this is bad. It's just descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is more oaky.
Cagle, what do you think?
Woody, I'd say woody and maples. I definitely get that after you said it,
So
especially.
some sweetness right off the bat, and then it kind of
Definitely
turns
some
into some woody.
sweetness. Mhm.
All right, I got you.
I can say this.
Adding some water.
My personal preference, this is not it. Which doesn't mean this is the ringer or a bad whiskey. It's just not my personal preference and style of whiskeys.
Well, that's the beauty part of all of this is that
Yeah.
everybody's got their own
But this is that earthy
opinions are like assholes.
I mean, it's
Everybody's
almost-
got one.
Yep.
And it's
They
almost
all
like a
stink.
complete departure from what we've had so far. It seems like this one
Yes.
is just like it really stepped away from the first three.
Yeah.
In a big way. Oh, Lambert got quiet.
On to number 5.
Because I was taking.
I
a
appreciate
drink.
you keeping us on time here.
Well, I want to make sure we keep moving along.
We're going.
This is for me the darkest of the bunch. And
So you've already looked at 6.
This is straight up. I have, but this is straight up amber dark for me. This is. I would even say I'm keeping it in the amber family, but it could be a little more copperishy as well. It's not the right word. That's not the word, but
Cagle, what do you think?
I mean, I think I look at copper as a penny, and it doesn't feel like it's that same
it's
color
not
profile.
copper, but it is the darkest
definitely-
amber.
Yeah,
It's
but
definitely
there's-
amber.
Still in
there's
the
some
amber
red,
profile.
red creeping in there.
Yeah.
With
The amber family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. What about the nose?
It's a little subdued, but what's there is delicious. It's but it's not as pronounced as the other 4.
It's more fruit though. For me, it's more fruit forward. It's like a dark cherry.
Yep.
Or black cherry.
I was just gonna
Like
ask.
the
you.
Luxardo
I'm
cherries.
adding the extra words there
Yeah.
for
You're
you.
saying fruit. What do you mean?
Yeah. Black cherry.
Banana. No banana this time.
No banana.
No banana this
All
time.
right.
No.
All right. That's good news.
Like the Luxardo cherries that you just hope that
Ooh,
the
those
bar
are good.
is.
Yeah,
I-
Luxardo is there too. Yeah.
I've got some of those in the bar.
Yeah. There's no reason not to.
It's definitely
That
more
and,
subtle than.
good vermouth, and that's all you need.
Honestly, even like the palate is very similar. It's still very fruity. For me, it's got a good like fruity taste to it, but then it's also like got a really good heat. Like the finish, this is the best finish of the bunch.
I was just gonna ask about the like
This is the best,
because
longest.
we haven't talked about the finish a lot for any of these.
This is-
Well, maybe for number 1 we talked about the finish. I was just gonna ask, like, what do you think about the finish, just in general?
This is the hottest for me. Most warmth out of the entire finish.
Okay.
Most alcohol so far.
Yeah. Which I mean, you can
I
go
haven't
with,
tasted 6 yet, but
with the dark. I mean, with how dark it is, and you swirl it around the glass, but then just with the heat, it sticks around. Still sticking around.
Sneaking ahead, 6 to me smells like maple bacon.
We're on
There you
6.
go.
Okay,
I
well,
like that.
oh, speaking of, that's my next project. Is I'm gonna cure more bacon and then smoke it with the staves from the Maker's Mark barrels.
That sounds like a fantastic plan.
Yeah.
Sounds like I need some of that. Sign me up.
I'm gonna make 11 pounds of it. So
All right. Well,
yeah, I
well,
should have
sign me up.
plenty.
You got a few to go around.
Yeah. I don't know. It goes pretty quick once I do it, but I'll definitely
So for
bring a nerd bite or two.
Are you smoking a whole pork belly? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. You know,
Yeah.
just
Or 2.
Slice it.
Yeah. I'll put it on my slicer, slice it thin,
Love it.
throw it on the
I'm down
flat
with
top
that.
griddle it up, pour some pancake batter right in that bacon grease.
So, Cagle, you said maple bacon on the nose.
That's for
I haven't
number
tried it
6.
yet. It's for 6.
I'm
Yeah,
saying for
on number
6.
5, there's definitely a mapley note here. There's a smoky note that I'm getting at the back of my nose, really, down near my olfactory epithelium.
okay, so on to 6. Color wise,
I was
sorry.
gonna-
Are we still on 5? Sorry.
I'm still on 5.
No, Brian.
Brian's still on 5, and then I was gonna
Brian, you like 5.
I was gonna
I,
ask Cagle on 6.
I like the mouthfeel on 5. I like the finish on 5. I think it represents a higher quality whiskey. I still think 3 is my favorite as far as personal preference.
I have
goes.
3 with a star over here.
Yeah,
I agreed.
but yeah, I think there's a lot to like there, and not a lot to not like. If we can throw more double
got it, you
negatives in
got it,
there.
Well, let's throw some triple negatives. No.
Okay.
All right. Number 6.
So for 6, I got color wise for me. This is the
What do we got?
medium to light amber.
Still
This
in
is
the
still in the
amber
amber. I mean, we've had
I
a
don't
lot.
think. Yeah, I don't think any of
These
these
last 4 have been amber. The first 2 were gold for me.
are gonna. Yeah, and none of them are gonna get into the copper
No,
family
they're not
just
getting the
because
dark
of the
ones, no.
nature of.
That Balcones I brought could work its way in
Absolutely
there.
could.
Yeah, that was dark.
100%.
As far as the nose, I agree with you, Cagle. I think it does have some mapleness to me. If a little bit of sugar, maybe brown sugar, which is pretty much maple syrup.
Molasses and
Yeah,
Yeah.
molasses is good.
Cagle, you've tried it. What do you think?
It's fantastic.
Well, nose match.
Deliciously
the flavor.
fantastic.
There you go. Hey, that's all right. Anything specific?
I was gonna say I'm having a hard time picking up like whether it's. I can't decide if it's sweet or
Spicy?
spicy. Well, it's definitely spicy. I'm actually probably getting some cinnamon in there and maybe a little bit of. I want to say allspice, but I'm not even sure what that is.
So this is the first one for me where I can feel like the alcohol like in the back of my nose.
it's a little berry
Yeah.
that they dry out, and
Yeah.
it's called allspice. Yeah, but it's
And is it spicy?
it is in
It
a
is.
different way. It's
Just
similar.
like a star anise.
Yeah, I mean, if
Chinese
we're-
5-spice.
Sure.
It's
I
one of
don't
those
even know what
great
that is.
pickling spices, you know. So I mean, allspice is included in just like if you were to grab crab boil, there's going to be allspice in there. If you're grabbing just a pickle brine,
So maybe it's not allspice, but it's definitely more like the cinnamon pepper side of it for me.
Nutmeg?
Maybe a little bit of nutmeg on the finish because it's still kind of sweet.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
yeah, there's almost like a red hot, like kind of
Yeah.
thing going on here. That sweet cinnamon that's going to be hot and burn at the same time.
This is the hottest, but also like not overbearing hot, especially for what's considered a lower proof out of the bunch. Okay, so
gotcha.
we've sampled all of them. What do we do next?
So which one do you like the most? Cagle's
I'm
3.
showing a hand sign for 3 here.
3.
I-
3.
Okay. Cagle number
3.
3. Are we gonna rank? Let's rank them all.
You can
I'll
rank
go
them.
with the one that I like the least
Let's
first.
do that
Which
first.
one do you like
Yeah.
the least?
Number 2.
Number 2. Cagle, which one do you like the least?
I wasn't trying to remember which one the least, but maybe 6.
Of your recollection, which one do you like the least?
6.
6.
I thought number 2, the ethanol and the methanol. It wasn't just pure ethanol that I was smelling. There was another fraction there it's another alcohol that's a little bit dirtier.
Okay.
Right. So ethyl alcohol vaporizes at a certain temperature, and then methanol vaporizes at a little hotter temperature. It's a little less volatile. It smelled kind of like it had a hand sanitizer quality
Interesting.
to me.
Like the alcohol hand sanitizer or the ones they're making now that smells like tequila?
No, the alcohol hand
there
sanitizer,
we
the kind that they were coming out with right when COVID started, where it was
Because
like
all the ones, for whatever reason, they all smell like tequila to me now.
Yeah,
I
maybe
don't know
that's why we can't get Patron,
Well, except for your barrel pick, which
except
is
for our barrel pick, which is quite good.
fantastic. And I
Yeah.
have another bottle right there. Hildebrand. Least.
I think my least favorite is number 1.
Number 1. All right.
There was just something about it. It was a little bit more bland for me.
All right.
It was like 1A, 1B, I should say 6A, 6B,
Between
1 and 2.
1 and
As
2.
far as my 2 least favorite, I think they were just the 2 most bland of the bunch.
Very interesting.
I kind of like the elegance of 1. To me, it seemed, I understand what you're saying when you say bland. Certainly, it's not aggressive at all. It's if we were talking about single malt Scotch, I would use the term this is more feminine versus a more masculine Scotch, right? And I kind of like that part of it to me, but I'm not over the moon over it. I kind of didn't dislike it.
Honestly, I didn't dislike any of these.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I hope
Exactly.
But
So-
I would say though that was probably the one for me. Like I said, it just didn't. grab me. Both 1 and 2.
What about
I had
favorites?
number 1 ranked second for me. Like I feel like that's
Well, okay, well, let's do
Pretty
top
solid.
2 then.
I was just
top
going to
2
say
next. You go
favorites.
first, Cagle.
Favorites, Cagle.
top 2,
Top 2.
3,
3 and 1.
1.
All right.
Close second for 2.
Hildebrand.
My favorite is number 5.
Okay.
And my second favorite is number 4.
All right. Brian.
3 and 5. 3.
3
is my
number
favorite.
1.
Yep.
5 number 2.
Yep.
All right. Which one do you think is the ringer?
Meaning the common whiskey.
Yeah, the one that you can find anywhere.
I would go with 2.
2. Hildebrand.
I'm going to go with 4.
Cagle.
Remember, I'm the uneducated person in the room.
Which might make you the most educated person in
I
the
would
room.
say 6.
6. Interesting. Very interesting. So, quick PSA for bourbon. We've said this a million times. We probably have, but especially with everything opening up. Again, 5 of these are the hard to find ones, everywhere to find. Find a bar, go out, try them yourself. Like, go out there and figure out what you like. I think for the last year or so we weren't able to do that, but now that you can, like, go out and try stuff, figure out what you like and what you don't like, and then if it's the bourbon but you've tried it and you don't like it, then you know not to buy it, and
Trust your palate.
trust your palate and don't buy it. Stick to what you know, stick to what you like, don't succumb to peer pressure, and just find what you like and go do it. And it's cheaper to go out to a bar or Dogwood Social House. Shameless plug.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Shameless plug. They've got a great selection. Go out there, buy a pour, see if you like it, and if you like it, great. You might be able to go next door and grab a bottle. And if you
Better to
don't,
spend $10 on a pour and see if you
Exactly.
like it than dropping $70 on a bottle and realizing I fucking hate this thing.
I hate
sure
this,
It's a cool on my
and-
shelf collecting dust.
yeah, and it turns into a shelf turd.
It turns into what you serve company.
Well, that's
The
true.
mixers too.
Yeah.
All right, here's what I think we should do next because
What should we do?
I don't know if guessing. Do you have a plan for next?
I mean, no, I'm
I was
going
going to say I think what you should do is tell us what the bottles are,
Yeah.
not in order. Just put them on the table and then we try and guess which ones are which.
We can do that. We can absolutely do that.
There's
I
a
like
twist.
Give us the reveal.
I'll start putting bottles on the. I'll start putting. I got the bottles right here.
I
do
see
it.
dead people.
I see dead people.
It's a good twist for the taste.
All right, here's one bottle.
I see what you did there.
Ready?
Yep. E.H. Taylor,
The Colonel.
small batch.
E.H. Taylor small batch.
Bottled in bond.
Okay.
Bottled in bond. Are you guessing? Or
No,
are you
I'm saying
just
put
gonna-
them all up here and then we'll decide. Or should we do one at a time?
I mean, we can do
Yeah,
one. at a
let's
time.
do.
No, this
Let's
is going
do
to be
them all.
very
Do them
embarrassing
all.
for
Do
me.
them all.
Do
And
'em all.
then we figure it out.
All right. Next one.
The rare.
Eagle Rare.
I'm normally a big
10
fan
year?
of that. I have this at home. I like it a lot.
Yes, you do.
I think I like it a lot. We'll find out.
And you think you like
I
it a
hope
lot.
it's the last one.
The next one.
Yeah, I know you do.
WSR. The Weller Special Reserve. I'm gonna have to start figuring
Never
out
had
what
them.
I'm
Never had that.
These are all on that
You have had
allocated list. Yeah.
prior to today.
The next one.
McKenna.
The Henry McKenna. The 10-year. The next one.
I haven't had that often. That's bottled in bond too.
The next one.
Ooh.
The Weller Antique. The 107.
I hope the last one is Wild Turkey 101.
It is not Wild Turkey. You would have been able to spot that a mile away.
Come on.
The last one. The Ringer. The Early Times,
Times.
Bottled in Bond.
That's a deceptive ringer, though.
That is.
And I'll tell you why, because that's a ringer
it is.
if you're in like Southern Illinois, but it's not a ringer if you're in Missouri. It's hard to find that bottle.
Yeah, but you can go
We
to
don't-
any liquor store in Illinois and
We
find
don't have
it.
that in Georgia, just sitting on the shelf.
Well, that's your problem. That's not my problem.
This is a sneaky ringer.
That is not a
very
sneaky
lucky.
ringer
I
because
was kind of hoping for like 4 roses off the shelf.
So real
Single
quick,
barrel?
MSRP, $25.
I've got all that stuff. We can talk about that later.
Let's do it right now.
We can do cost analysis.
No, just do MSRP real quick.
$30 for a liter.
Eagle Rare.
30, 35,
These are
30,
national averages
30.
of MSRP.
40, 50.
Okay.
Well, MSRP is going to be different than national average at this point.
Yeah, it's MSRP.
Yeah.
That's true.
Those
All
are
right,
all
sorry.
MSRP.
Sorry. You're right.
So-
National average is higher than that.
Way.
National, especially for this one, and well,
It's for every one of
these
them.
5.
Every one of them.
All of them except for
all
early
of them,
times.
except for that one. National
Even
average
that
is
though,
higher.
even that's higher.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
You can't get it here.
But you can drive across the river.
You don't know
You
that you can
get it.
drive across
Whoa.
the river and find this.
If you live
find this.
here, okay.
Well,
Atlanta, Georgia, none of these are
It's your
available.
problem for living in Georgia.
You know what? I've heard that twice now.
Yep.
Cagle, I got
Some
an
things-
unopened bottle of that. If you like it enough, you can take it back with you.
Well, tell me which number it is, and I'll tell you.
Okay. All right. So let's
No.
let's try and guess if we know which ones are which. So number 1, what do we think is number 1?
I think it's Weller Special Reserve.
You go next.
Cagle's not gonna know.
I've never had Weller Special
I think it's
Reserve.
Eagle. I think it's Eagle Rare.
Well, could be.
Do you want the
Could be.
Do you want the reveal? Am I
I think
doing it right
McKenna is
now?
number 5.
You want to do it per one?
We can
Okay,
do-
fine. Tell
Well,
us. Okay.
then that narrows it down.
It does, yeah.
But-
Okay.
So I think McKenna's number 5. I'm hoping the Weller 107 is number 3,
How about we do this? Let's go down.
or the.
We should have
EH
planned this
Taylor.
beforehand, but let's go down each one, and
Mhm.
we each name what number we think it is,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then at the end you tell us which number it actually is.
Perfect.
Okay. Early Times. I think Early Times is number. I think it's my favorite. I think it's number 5. That's what I think. Because I fucking love Early Times. It'll probably be number 1, but I'm guessing 5. Cagle.
Cagle,
We'll rotate order.
just
5.
throw out a number.
Brian.
Yeah.
2.
All right.
Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare. You go first, Cagle.
1.
Brian.
4.
I'm going 1 as well. E.H. Taylor, small
E.H.
batch.
Taylor.
I go first on this one. I think this is 6.
I agree.
Agree.
He fucking has. Weller.
Of course.
Weller for Cagle.
WSR.
4.
Okay. I'll guess
Wait.
number 2.
Where was I?
I don't
I
know.
think it's got to be 5. No, not 5.
Actually,
I
I'm
think
saying
McKenna is 5.
I'm saying 2.
Hang on.
Saying 2.
I can't do this on the fly.
It's too much math.
I've forgotten which ones
1.
I've already said.
1.
Just-
Weller Special Reserve.
just
Yeah, I
make
already
it
said
up.
it was
McKenna, Cagle, you go first.
3.
5.
I think it's 3 also. And then the
Oh,
Antique.
The Oa.
I don't remember which number I haven't said yet, so I'm going to say 6.
2.
3.
I think I already said 6, didn't I?
I'm not keeping track. I'm not
Here's the
writing
problem
shit
with
down.
bourbon tasting. We don't know.
All right.
Well,
So tell us,
we've been
Early
drinking.
Times is what?
Early Times Bottled and Bond is number 4. Nope.
Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare is number 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got that one right. I don't think so, actually. I think I guess number 1. E.H. Taylor.
Number 3.
I think we both... We all got that one right?
I feel pretty
Yes.
good. I didn't get it right, but I'm really happy.
No, I
that
think
it
we
was-
all did. I think we all said 3 on that one.
That's our favorite, though.
No, I said Weller Antique was 3.
Oh,
I had EH Taylor as 6.
Weller.
You had EH Taylor as 6. We all
WSR.
said EH Taylor. as 6.
WSR, Brian got this one right. That's number 1.
McKenna.
Number 5.
Got that right too.
And
And the O is number 6.
number 6. Well, I feel pretty good about McKenna being my favorite. That doesn't sound wrong. That doesn't sound wrong.
That
I
doesn't-
have many bottles of McKenna.
That does not sound wrong at all.
Number
No.
2 was... I'm sorry. Number
4.
That was...
Early Times.
That was-
My second favorite is
that was-
number 4, and I do love the Early Times.
Yeah, you do. That was the Early Times. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just gonna. All right. What else? Number 3 for me was 3. That's E.H. Taylor. I haven't had that a lot. I wish I'd have more of that. Oa
like
was
that a
4
lot
for
more.
me.
Yep.
5 was Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare.
And
What'd you
6
call it?
was
Ola?
Oa.
It was called Old Weller Antique before they changed it to...
Oh, okay.
107. So the bottle used to say Old Weller Antique, so people
Gotcha.
just call it Oa.
I gotta tell you, for the last one of these we did, I felt really bad about myself because I didn't pick out the 1792.
You did
And
not.
I ranked it like 4th out of all of
The
them.
1792
And I
full
wanted
proof, your
to jump out
favorite
the
in the
fucking,
world.
I want to jump out the window.
And you
This
hated
one, I feel really good about how I ranked it and what was going on. Cagle,
I'm kind of along
thoughts?
the lines like Eagle Rare is a bottle I have at home. I drink a lot. I really like it. I had it in my top 3. It was like I feel good about that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
And-
good. What was your number one?
The E.H. Taylor,
Okay, there you go.
which I haven't had before, and I'll go pick up a bottle.
You
I
get
know
some.
you want.
Good luck.
In Georgia.
Have fun.
Brian, what about you?
I actually feel pretty good about it too. I'm surprised and not surprised about Eagle Rare.
What was your number one?
My number one was the Weller.
Which one? The Ola? This
I'm
one?
sorry. My number one was the Taylor,
Okay, this one. All right, gotcha.
and my number 2 was the McKenna. So
Okay, yeah.
I feel pretty good about that. But early times, yeah, really, that is a difficult ringer.
It's a sleeper.
It's a sneaky
Yeah.
ringer.
It's
you
a-
sneaky son of a bitch. You.
As soon as I had this lineup figured, I knew exactly what the ringer was going to be
Mutating son of a
because
bitch.
we love the early times.
Yeah.
So let's do some cost analysis. So, well, we already kind of talked about it, but WSR was $30, so it's $1.20 per ounce. Eagle Rare, same $1.20 per ounce. EHT at MSRP, $1.40 per ounce. Early times, 88 cents per ounce because that's a liter bottle. McKenna, $1.60. The OA, $2. Not bad.
Get that early times if you can.
Get that drive to Illinois and get that early time.
Yeah,
Did we
yeah,
take
because-
into the price of gas into account with the early times?
I do not.
It works out. Buy more than one
there-
bottle.
there are
while
no-
you're- while you're
That's
there.
true.
there are no actuary sciences going into this calculation.
So
at all.
lucky for me, I'm driving through Illinois on my way back to Georgia, and I will pick up a few of these for myself.
you can go to
I've got 2 thumbs and 1 car.
any
that works.
liquor store in Illinois and they are there.
Right.
Any of them. I will not say a name because
That's fine.
I'm not partial. All right.
All right, well,
Thank
that's
yous.
fun.
Thank yous. Nerd Outreach. Thank yous.
Thank you for having me.
I was gonna say thanks to our guests, John and Brian.
No,
Absolutely.
the best.
Thank you guys.
Always fun.
I gotta thank Lambert for putting together this amazing this spread for us.
Hey.
I call it a spread.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very
Anytime.
much. That's a lot of
Absolutely.
great
Love
stuff.
it. That's,
so.
Well, honestly, that's the reason to have all this stuff is to share it with friends. Like that's not. I could drink all this stuff by myself, but it would take a really long time. But the point, at least as far as I'm concerned, the point to have all this stuff is to share it with friends, to let other people try. Like Cagle, you said you never tried E.H. Taylor before. Now you know what it is. So now you know you like it, and so you're probably gonna try to go find it somewhere.
Yeah, and fail, probably.
Well, you never know.
Fingers crossed. Where can you check us out?
Well, you can send show suggestions to nerdsthenewcoolpodcast@gmail.com. You can like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram at nerdsthenewcoolpodcast. You can follow us on Twitter at nerdsthenewco2. And you can listen to us wherever podcasts are found. And, obviously, you can watch us on YouTube. Next episode preview. You're excited about this one.
We're gonna do a little Mick. I'm sorry, I almost said Mick.
You
A
almost said
chicken
Mick.
sandwich off with some of the best chicken sandwiches out there. You know,
This is
Are
going to
we specifically fast food chicken
fast
sandwiches?
food chicken sandwiches,
food chicken
deep fried
sandwich.
chicken sandwiches. We're talking Popeyes. We're talking the King. We're talking KFC. We're talking Chick-fil-A.
all of them.
Anybody go for
McDonald's.
Wendy's?
Wendy's. We'll
The
throw them all in
spicy-
there.
The
Chicken.
spicy
Listen,
chicken from Wendy's.
My mom told me the White Castle chicken sandwich was not too shabby. And this is a woman that knows fried chicken.
She knows. Well,
Intimately.
look forward to the deep fried chicken sandwich episode next time.
That's going to be interesting.
It'll be a gross thing to watch, but also entertaining.
Well, Justin, don't feel bad about saying Mick because he said show suggestions.
He did. So
I always fucking mispronounce that. I cannot say
I will say it from
sober,
now on. You're
drunk.
That was his
doesn't
Sean
matter.
Connery
I can't
impersonation.
do it. I cannot say those two words
Christmas
together.
time in the shitty.
No matter when. It doesn't matter. I can't do it.
These bourbon tastings go off the rails fast.
It doesn't matter. Stone sober, I can't say that shit. It doesn't matter. Anyways,
Well, it's been fun.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Nerd Bites.
Nerd Bites.